Good. So what I want to do now is, I mean, we talk a lot about tech and the big companies, but you and I both kind of have businesses. Yours is a little bit more serious than mine is. For anyone that doesn't know, I run all this stuff like podcasts, Tech with Tim through a corporation. And I know you're a founder of Algo Expert and CEO. So I wanted to ask you a bit about business and stuff and get into that because I think it's interesting. I think a lot of people want to hear about, how do you start a business? What are some of the challenges? What's fun? What's hard? So maybe we can talk a bit about that.
Yeah.
But I wanted to ask you, how did you get started with Algo Expert? And were you like an entrepreneurial kid? Like, were you always into entrepreneurship, making money on your own? Or was this something that just kind of came up after you got through the coding bootcamp?
I got really interested in entrepreneurship in high school. And I think the trigger, if there is one that I can think of, is seeing the movie The Social Network about, the Facebook founding story. Obviously, that movie is a little bit, bombastic and theatrical, but that movie, I remember, kind of sparked something in me where I was like, wow, I think this might be something I'm interested in. And then ever since then, I tried doing a bunch of stuff, a bunch of entrepreneurial endeavors. A lot of them were things related to YouTube, to, online presence. I tried streaming on Twitch and I had a little bit of success there. I tried a bunch of YouTube channels, no success at all there. I tried a few business ideas, but I didn't have the coding skills to really develop them, so no success there whatsoever. And then Algo Expert was the first really huge hit that I got. It was an incremental one, it didn't happen overnight. But yeah, when I started it, I definitely knew that I was wanting to create a business, if that makes sense.
Yeah, for sure. I think that's cool. I remember back, so I would say I'm fairly entrepreneurial as well with this, YouTube channel and all this stuff I'm doing. And I remember for me, The Social Network was definitely an inspiration as well. What really sparked mine, and this might be a funny story for some people, was actually a Minecraft server. So I'm not sure, do you ever play Minecraft?
Yep.
Were you a gamer at all?
Yeah.
So I used to play a lot of Minecraft probably in elementary school, maybe the beginning of high school. And I used to play on, it's called a faction server. It's just a specific game mode. And I always was thinking, I was like, damn, these guys must be making crazy amount of money. Because the way it works for people that don't know is these kind of Minecraft servers, you can donate money and then you get special perks on the server. So you can fly around or you could get extra items, whatever it might be. And I was like, there's thousands of people playing on this server. These ranks are hundreds of dollars. I'm like, how hard can it be to do this? So that's when I also got into coding too. And I made my own Minecraft server and grinding at 13, 14 years old, writing a few custom plugins, stuff like that. And I actually ended up making $300, $400 a month.
That's
and
awesome.
That for me was huge. I had my friends on the server helping out. I was like, damn, this is so cool. The amount of effort I'm putting in directly translates to how much money I'm able to generate. And that just for me was what sparked that stuff and how I got into YouTube and all of that. So that's cool to hear that story. So I want to ask then, because you're running a more proper business than kind of what I'm doing. I mean, it's pretty much just me. My brother's helping out once in a while. So I wanted to ask you, what's the most important thing or some of the big things you've learned since being a CEO, maybe in a management sense or just in terms of running a business, some big challenges that you faced and things you've learned along the way?
Yeah, I mean, there are a ton and probably way more than I can fit into this video even, but I'll go with one, okay? One thing that I think has really hit me is you've probably heard, especially in the venture capital world or entrepreneurship world, people say stuff like ideas are cheap, execution is what matters. When people are scared of sharing an idea because they're like, oh, I don't want to tell my idea because someone's going to steal it, the typical response these days is, the idea isn't really what matters, it's more how you're going to execute on it. That is incredibly, incredibly, incredibly true and accurate. Execution is so important. We wouldn't be where we are today with Algo Expert had we not executed like crazy and grinded like crazy. And of course, execution comes with many different things. Execution means executing well, executing fast, executing creatively, right? I'm coming up with things here, but you get the idea. But the point is, you just thinking about an idea and dreaming of being an entrepreneur, it's part of the thing, but it's not the thing.
Okay, so that's kind of what I've realized as well. I mean, maybe you can speak, we'll talk about YouTube a bit later too. on YouTube as well. I mean, you can have so many good video ideas. You can have all these things you want to put out, these things that seem like they should go viral or that are going to be a big hit, or you have this idea for the channel or whatever. And I see this a lot with people that like want to start YouTube but don't get into it. It really takes so much extra work, so much more than that to get anything. Like I put so many videos out that were just horrible, and I had to learn so much before I was able to do anything on the platform. Like I think a lot of people forget that even the biggest like YouTube stars, the people we see today, they didn't get there from, getting lucky. Maybe some of them did, but most of them were sitting in their basement at 15, grinding, like trying to teach themselves how to do this, learning the different concepts. I mean, I always use the example of like KSI or something, like one of those big comedy YouTubers.
Yeah.
Like I remember when I was younger and I saw him, sitting in his bedroom with his brother at like a few 100,000 subscribers, just playing video games. Like the quality of his videos were not where they are today, like just grinding for so long. So that's what I think I've realized that as well a little bit, is like you can have such great ideas, but if you're not willing to put the work in and really, like you said, execute on them properly, you're not really getting anything out of that. I mean, it's one thing to have the idea, but what are you going to do with just that, right?
Yeah, and it's often a brutal amount of work, like you said, and a brutal amount of what I like to call unsexy work. Like take YouTube. YouTube is a good example. YouTube, you see, let's say, a day in the life of video or some other video that goes viral, right? And you're like, whoa, that's so cool, or that seems so cool. But then you when you look behind the scenes, you realize the amount of time and effort that goes into making not just those viral videos, but what about all the other hundreds of non-viral videos that are essentially just as important because they are the incremental path to those viral videos, right? Like I'll spend hours editing videos and making thumbnails, making descriptions and all that. And it's kind of like, at face value, or if you isolate them, someone might be like, why are you, this is such a poor investment of your time. Like the return on this particular thing is giving you almost nothing. But then you put them in the aggregate and over time, and then you're like, okay, wait a second, you've got a huge return on investment here and an incredible business or whatever you want to call it, brand.
Yeah, I mean, I'm with you on that. I think the biggest thing I realized was how much work has to go in without seeing any results, and how dedicated you have to be to what it is you want to do. Like for me, I was making $0 on YouTube for the first year and a half that I was doing it. Not many people are capable of just sitting there and grinding and working their ass off with seeing literally nothing in return. Seeing a few subscribers, a few comments, those little bits of motivation is not enough to keep a lot of people going. And that's what I tell people. I'm like, look, if you want to make it on a platform like YouTube or even just anything, I feel like you're going to have to be willing to put in a significant amount of work. And I think to be able to do that, you have to be somewhat passionate about what you're doing, which is what let me do that. There's no way I'd be here today if I didn't really like coding. Because when I was making those videos, I enjoyed teaching it. I was learning new stuff, but I worked so hard for so long with nothing to show for it. And then all of a sudden it came, and then it's exponential and it grows and it grows and it grows. And I mean, I can tell you a year ago, I was making a few $100 off this, right? It wasn't a big deal. It wasn't something I was doing for money. It was because I really liked doing it and I was passionate about it. And then it turned into almost, I don't want to say a career, but it turned into a proper business, something that you can show for all those, hours and hours of work that went in at the beginning with pretty much no results, right?
Yeah. The only thing that I would add to that is I agree with your point about the passion, that the passion certainly helps because it keeps you going when there's almost no reward or nothing to show for it. But I will also say that sometimes it doesn't necessarily have to be about being passionate, but also just wanting the result really badly. And if you want the results really badly, you're going to be willing to put the work, even if you're not necessarily passionate about it. As an example, I am not particularly passionate about editing my YouTube videos or about, writing the tags for my YouTube videos. It's not there are things in life that I would rather be doing. But it is the outcome is something that I really, really, really want and really, really love and enjoy. And so because of that, I'm willing to put in the effort.
Okay, yeah, for sure. I would agree with that. I mean, I think the idea is you have to have that vision in the future. You have to be able to look and say, hey, this that I'm doing right now, I know I don't see the results in front of me. I can't grab them by the hand. But if I keep going, I'll see them, right? And I agree with you. I mean, I think anyone who likes editing their YouTube, maybe some people, but in the tech space especially, like who likes sitting down for 2 hours and editing a YouTube video or making the tags? Like I hate the tags and description. That's my least favorite part by far.
But it's so tedious.
Yeah, but they're so important, right? And you're like, you can't skip them. You have to do them because if you want that result, you know, you're willing to put that work in.